When the meeting finally adjourned, Catherine stayed closely by her husband's side in the quiet corridor. She noticed William's hands trembling slightly, not out of any ambition for power, but out of the sheer weight of what these preparations implied about his father's state. For the public, a coronation represents grandeur, continuity, and national unity. But for Prince William, every document signed felt like an invisible distance being forced between him and his father, creating a heartbreaking conflict between personal love and constitutional duty. Retreating into a private alcove, William admitted to Catherine that while the world views a crowning as a glorious milestone, to him, it felt like the beginning of an unbearable loss. Trying to process the moment, William removed his gold signet ring and set it gently on a side table, whispering that while everyone sees the crown, nobody sees the emotional cost paid by the son who must eventually wear it. What the prince did not fully realize at that moment was that the true catalyst for this emergency meeting had occurred 3 weeks earlier. During a state service at Westminster Abbey, King Charles had briefly lost his place while reading a formal address. Though the hesitation lasted only a few seconds, Prince William had instinctively stepped forward to assist his father toward the correct line. While William acted purely out of protective love, King Charles experienced the public gesture as an unsettling exposure of vulnerability, realizing that the relentless push of time could no longer be ignored. The quiet aftermath of the emergency meeting did not bring calm. Instead, it opened a quiet rift inside the palace that quickly threatened to fracture the core of the royal household. Deep inside the private apartments of Buckingham Palace, Queen Camilla confronted King Charles behind closed doors, demanding to know why a decision of such monumental proportion had been hidden from her until it was presented as a finished mandate before a room full of aides. For Camilla, who had stood by Charles through decades of intense public scrutiny, bitter controversy, and relentless pressure, learning about the active coronation planning alongside constitutional advisors felt like a devastating personal exclusion. She argued that preparing for the crown's transition was not a mere administrative task, but a deeply personal milestone that directly impacted their shared life and his ongoing reign. However, King Charles refused to back down, insisting that the momentary stumble at Westminster Abbey had proven that the monarchy could not afford the luxury of waiting for comfortable moments, and that the future of the institution must never be left vulnerable to sudden grief or unexpected crisis. As the confrontation intensified, Camilla openly questioned whether the younger generation was already being elevated at the expense of their present standing.